welcome to Breakfast Central. It is definitely another day. It's a hump day, like they love to call it, on a Wednesday. But for us here, it's midweek, as we rightly put it, in the Nigerian and, of course, the workforce context. Welcome to another splendid edition of Nigeria's numero uno brightest breakfast show on television. Whether you like it or not, whatever dialect language in which you want to describe it, what we're saying, welcome. We seem to be ready for today's edition because it is well packed. By the way, I might be looking like a learned colleague, but I am not. I'm just a broadcast journalist. But someone is looking like a learned colleague as well. I don't know if he peeped through the window to say, what's Joe putting on, man? Let's make it work. But like they say, great minds think alike. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I want to welcome you to the show as I introduce a journalist of international repute, one who is dark, sharp, pristine, and I could say his name is Benga. If he were from Kenya, they would say Borowa, but he's Benga Borowa. How are you, my brother?
What a fantastic introduction, Joe. I'm good. And I think the reverse is the case. I got to work before you, so you peeped me, you copied me.
Really?
Yes. And I'm not looking dark.
Oh, somebody peeped too, but she decided to change
She's matching us with the pants.
You know, she said, you know, let me
what's going on this morning?
Let me do a blue. You're wearing the black pants and white. I mean, you got the white. You're almost there.
Okay,
almost.
I look like FBI agent. He looks like lost to the 200 level.
Actually, you're the one that looks like a 200 level.
I'm telling you, this is what they wear.
I promise you.
How about you?
But no, I don't.
First of all, as a lawyer, he won't wear this tie. He will hardly wear this kind of.
Oh, so you have, it has to be plain.
Yeah.
It has to be plain. Polka dots are not allowed.
You look like a jambite. You just got into school.
Jambito.
I'm trying to ask, please, where is the faculty office? Please, you don't go there. Drop your file there, I'm eating. And then she's throwing granite.
Boop, boop, boop.
Drop your file.
She said, come upstairs, you go and buy me.
I'm sure it still happens.
It still happens,
basically.
No, maybe to a certain extent. Yeah. But it's good to be here. Welcome to Breakfast Central. You know the drill. We bring you all the news, the interesting analysis. We break down everything for you that you need to know on the news and current affairs in the country. I am Benga Borowa. Welcome to the program.
And when you said you know the drill, I thought you were going to say Johnny Drill. But let's get to
It's too early, please.
It's too early in the morning.
Too early in the morning
Never too early
time.
for a dry joke. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. It's always a pleasure. We consider it an immense honor that you choose to start your day with us, which is why we do everything within our power to make sure that we deliver excellence and quality to you, finding out what some of the biggest stories are. The past 24 hours has been full of drama. Some very mighty moves have been made. Some political moves we did not see coming this time last year. If anybody had told you that the one and only Sinalai Fubara, gentlemen, you know,
this is what we say.
You know,
after the resumption, did it come to you as a surprise?
This is when we say, cue that song.
It feels like, it feels, you know, when Ashake says, they never see this coming. Even Wike that you can say, okay, he's frolicking with the administration, he's in bed with the administration, neck deep. He still stayed in his PDP. But some others will say, at least you can respect Sim Fubara's honesty to say, you know what, I'm not going to do the two-faced thing. But it's really just interesting. At the end of the day, it reminds you that Nigerian politicians will always prioritize themselves. Always.
I mean, if you look at the South now, all the...
It's an APC region. Everybody
the South has been color-bead in our street dialect. For those who just join us who are not Nigerians, it has been taken over by the APC, and it's no. Without gainsaying, you just know what 2027 is going to look like. Because
I mean, it's not a full
from regions to regions to regions.
I mean, people would, I guess when we get to the crux of it, the analysis, then we can tell if this movement automatically translate to votes, if the people would also move to the ruling party, because it's different. And I guess we'll have to see what the dynamics are. But like you said, It's looking like a foregone conclusion.
Very foregone conclusion.
I think we should take this story properly as we start the show.
But just let's tell them that as we're taking the stories, they should head to YouTube and drop your comments. As we're talking about this, we want to see your comments. And as we wrap up Wake Up Conversations, we will go on YouTube to pick comments from the live chat. So please head to YouTube. News Central Live is where we're streaming. We want to see your comments and take them.
That's right. Before we go to that story that saw the man hold the microphone and say, Anya, you know that song. Let's start off with this one on our Wake Up Conversations on a Wednesday morning. The Senate has approved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's request to deploy Nigerian troops to Benin Republic as part of a regional security effort aimed at strengthening border protection and addressing rising instability in the area. The decision came after a lengthy debate, with some lawmakers asking for clearer rules of engagement, while others stressed the importance of supporting a neighboring country whose security challenges could easily spill into Nigeria. But the approval has also raised a much bigger question at home. How well are we tackling our own banditry problems while preparing to send troops abroad? While some Nigerians feel internal security needs far more attention before any external commitment, others believe that regional cooperation is necessary to keep the wider environment stable and ultimately protect Nigeria in the long run. But let's take a look at this video and then we'll come back and, of course, look at the story and what Nigerians are saying.
The Senate now confirmed the actions of Mr. President in the deployment of the Air Force and troops to Benin Republic to ensure peace mission and restore order and sanity in that country, thereby saving Nigerians from thousands and thousands of refugees and also saving Nigerian borders from unnecessary criminality and disruption of peace and stability. Those in support of the confirmation of the approval, say aye. Those against, say nay. The approval is hereby confirmed.
And the ayes have it.
So maybe what's
Thinking
happening?
out loud, have they ever had a vote that nays had it in this 10th assembly? Everything is
in a long time. We've not seen that.
Sometimes you even think the Jamaicans singing reggae music because everything is I and I.
I and I, man. Yeah, man.
I thought you said it was too early.
Yes. No, but that's a factual issue. It's not a joke.
From my chair. Okay, so maybe there are two sides that we can see this from, right? We can see this from the fact that, yes, his action, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's action, would have required an approval from the Senate. So they are ratifying an action that he's already taken.
After the fact.
Yes, maybe because it happened too quickly. It was a coup.
Doctrine of necessity. Yeah, they had to deploy.
Yes, he had to quickly do that. It wasn't they couldn't gather an assembly to make that. So they're ratifying what he has had to do. Nigeria has established itself, as a regional authority when it comes to security issues by sending out these troops. But the criticism there is we also have our own troubles at home.
Domestic.
So if we're looking at our troubles at home and we're sending troops, aren't we stretching ourselves thin? But then again, the other angle to look at it from is Benin is really close to home.
Yeah.
So any issue that happens in Benin has a way of spilling over into the country, because what we would then see would be, we haven't finished catering to the internally displaced persons here in Nigeria. There are people that would then use that as an excuse to come into the country. It would in some way affect the country. So I don't think we can be completely removed from the challenges that Benin is facing.
I agree with you, but in the same vein, isn't our northern borders, we share a border with Niger, and they went through the same thing just last year. So what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Why didn't we deploy troops to dislodge the military government in Republic of Benin? Why in Niger? Why is it different with Benin?
So maybe, I'm not a government spokesperson, but in Benin or the Republic of Benin, the reason why they may not have done that is because everything took them by surprise as well. Benin had executed theirs before, it came to limelight. I think there was some sense of knowing that they had a small window in which they could have acted with the Benin situation.
Then I think,
against the Niger
I mean, the
situation.
Niger situation was very complex too. I mean, looking at northern Nigeria, the kinship between the Hausas in the north and the Hausas in Niger, it would have felt like brothers fighting brothers, and the dynamics were totally different.
Nigerians would have also,
the president
Nigerians and Nigerians would have
has redrawn VIPs from security personnel from VIPs, is given a marching order to recruit 30,000 people into the Nigerian police. And this tells you that our security operatives are stretched thin. That means you should prioritize domestic security, where they say charity begins at home. So it means we have surplus that we can even decide to send to. We're not to Benin Republic. We're not the only ECOWAS country. Why can't Ghana and other
we're not just
countries?
any other ECOWAS country. We're an ECOWAS country that is. I mean, our president served as the chairman of ECOWAS,
Yes.
right? So we are. You can.
Okay, we have the largest population in
Yes.
the ECOWAS bloc.
Yes.
And the giant of ECOWAS.
Giant of Africa. But anyway, let's see what Nigerians are saying.
Let's maintain ECOWAS
Yes.
for now.
Giant of Africa, indeed, and that's exactly what we're showing. Nigerians are saying this. Spirit Man says, at a time when we need our troops on ground to fight terrorism, we're deploying them away. Misplaced priority, he says. Well, Spirit Man, that's how you feel, and that's your opinion. Let's see another one. Goblin roll eye, reach back of head. Senate don't approve troops, go Benin Republic, go stabilize neighbor. Meanwhile, for Niger, bandits still they collect rent past state government. Oga Tinubu say, make we first secure next door before we secure our own backyard. Priority sweet die. Very soon, we go send Navy, go fight pirates for Ghana waters, while the Lagos boys, they swim with knife for 10 billion.
I mean, this Mr. Goblin's tweet reminds me of a song in the 1990s, Ironic by Alanis Morissette. Yes. Very ironic.
All right, let's see another one. Mazi Buka says, so we now have sufficient boots on ground that we can borrow to another country. Thought we were short of resources. What is the criteria for this approval? It's like having cancer and giving your chemotherapy drugs to your alcoholic friend. Ow, what's that? Anyway, Wala Digest says, well, it's great to know our Senate has their priorities straight. Our country is calm and peaceful. So, of course, sending troops to Benin is the most logical next step. Who needs to fix things at home when you can't be a hero abroad, right? Absolutely brilliant strategy.
But it reminds me of this song. I don't know, I'm very musical today.
Yeah, this morning.
Is it Westlife that sang it? I can be your hero, baby.
You make a calm down, tell it, please. Not convinced.
Ollie, who sang that thing? Sorry, who sang that song?
Maybe you should make this sense. You can go away. But let's be honest. I just want to add this. You know, this situation is like, it's a case of you having your children in the house and they're screaming that they're hungry. And they're shouting, Mommy, I'm hungry. Daddy, I'm hungry. But you cook a nice meal, fried rice, you know, chicken, you garnish it with some small sauce, you know, splendid plantain dodo, that type ripe one, you know, because it's sumptuous. And then while your children are waiting, you just pack all the food and go outside of your house and go and give it to your neighbors and say, neighbors, come and eat.
Can I retweak that analogy? So your children are hungry, you've made food for them. It's not the best of food, but it's decent enough to satisfy hunger.
Okay.
But the portion you've made is not even enough for your children. But you've now decided, you know what, there's love in sharing. So I'll give you some, and I'll give our neighbors some. Because if our neighbors are hungry completely and you are hungry, they can come into this house and rob us. But just to keep the peace, I'll feed you and I'll feed them.
Fantastic. I like that version. And that's what the Senate President, Mr. Senator Godswill Akpabio was saying, that, look, if you leave the situation to de-escalate into a crisis situation, that you have to deal with refugee problems, there will be insecurity in Benin Republic, and then we will have to deal with that mess. So we're being proactive.
Proactive in order to de-escalate.
In order to de-escalate.
De-escalate fight, you know.
But the underlying message again is to let the potential coup plotters in the future know that you cannot aspire to perspire when it comes to coup in Nigeria. So they're also sending a message that, look, we're sending air support, ground support, whatever we need to do. And if planning a coup is part of your agenda, then don't bring it to Nigeria with environs. Even though the Sahel regions might find this as an overreach, as we can see.
I mean, and then 10 days ago, 11 days ago, Guinea-Bissau. So why didn't we see this action? Guinea-Bissau, is Guinea-Bissau not as important as...
The question again is
or maybe it's a proximity issue, but we discussed that with Nigeria.
Maybe another thing is there preferential treatment in
maybe some coups
lend
are good,
support?
some coups are
We
not.
don't know.
All right,
But somebody's not
about,
happy. Somebody's not happy.
preferential
Somebody's not happy.
Let's talk about...
No, somebody's not happy about sending soldiers to Benin Republic.
quite a lot of
and out of
Nigerians
all who have spoken, former President Olusegun Obasanjo spoke briefly, but on other issues. And when we were expecting that, okay, maybe they will touch on this one, but somebody has come out to speak. And we're talking about Nobel Laureate Professor Wole Soyinka. Now, aside from criticizing the son to the president, he did say in a recent event that he didn't see any reason why the president will send troops to Benin Republic. Now, the Nobel Laureate was speaking. He also addressed a packed hall of scholars, activists, and young professionals. Soyinka questioned why the president's son, as well, such as has an overwhelming convoy, arguing that even top office holders often move with less. He went further to fault the president's recent approval of troop deployment to Benin Republic, saying that pointedly that instead of sending soldiers, he should have sent his son. What? A remark that drew a mixture of laughter and applause from the audience. Well, don't take our words for it. Watch this video.
Tinubu didn't have to send the Air Force and the military to deal with this particular insurrection, this threat to our own sense of security and equilibrium. No, there are easier ways of doing it. Let me tell you where Tinubu should have looked for forces to quell that insurrection. Right here in Lagos. Right here. Or in Abuja, perhaps, I don't know. But there was no need to call the military or the Air Force. I'll tell you what happened. On one of my home visits, this about 2 months ago, I was coming out of a hotel and I saw what looked like a film set. And I said, oh, they're shooting a film. That was on the grounds of this hotel. And a young man detached himself from the actors, came over and greeted me, very polite, very nice young man. And I said, are you shooting somebody? I said, I'm just joking. Are you shooting a film? He said, no. And I looked around. There was nearly a whole battalion occupying that, the grounds of that hotel, in Ikoyi, right here. So I got back in my car and I asked the driver who that young man was. And he told me. And I saw this SWAT team, a mixture. They were at least heavily armed, at least some 15 or so heavily armed to the teeth security personnel. Looked sufficient to take over a small country, neighboring city like Benin. And I think the next time, the president should just call and say, Seyi, go and quell the rebellion over there. I was so astonished that I started looking for the National Security Advisor. I said, track him down for me. I think they got him somewhere in Paris, but I was with the president. He was at a meeting. And I said, I've just seen something I can't believe, I don't understand. And I described the scene to him. I said, do you mean that a child of the head of state goes around with an army for his protection or whatever? I couldn't believe it. Later on, I did some investigative journalism. And I inquired, and I found that apparently this is how this young man goes around with his battalion, these heavy armed soldiers. Of course, the road was cleared before his car went out. I stayed until it seemed he was leaving. So next time there's an insurrection, I think the president should just call that young man and say, "Come on, put down those stupid people there. You have enough troops under your command, so don't bother me with all these security issues any longer." Let's not overdo things. This is not the first country that has a head of state. It's not the first country whose head of state has...
The Nobel Laureate has spoken. So when next there's an insurrection, he has said, please send the son of the president, Seyi Tinubu, to quell the insurrection or the issues there.
You know one thing I like about old age? When you are older, you say whatever is on your mind. You have nothing left to lose because it's like, at this age, what can you do to me?
Exactly.
Like you have the freedom to say whatever it is on your mind.
Really making sense, and it's very brave of him, I must say, because he's been getting a lot of criticism. People have been saying, oh, he's a supporter of President Tinubu, and for him to come out to say this in public shows that he has none to lose, like Olive said. And this is very reminiscent of what we've seen happen in African countries. Equatorial Guinea, for example, at least the son is the vice president.
Yeah.
So he's covered under the constitution, is entitled to a certain level of security. Also in Uganda, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Yes, he's the chief of defense forces in Uganda. Given his military position, he's also a general, is entitled to a certain level of security, but the first son of Mr. President is not recognized. I mean, has the first family, there is a certain level of security cover. All members of the first family deserve, but from what Professor Soyinka described, it seems out of order. It must have really been a long and huge convoy, and I know how these things work, especially in Lagos. On taxpayers' money, I mean, does he have any official role apart from being the son of Mr. President? And these things, they send wrong signals there, especially looking at our present realities, with the president withdrawing VIPs from, withdrawing security personnel from VIPs, and the hue and cry over how stretched our security personnel are. So we can do better, yes. Okay,
let's go on next and see what Nigerians are saying about this. And you can also tweet at us as well at News Central TV. But I Occupy Nigeria says, thank God Wole Soyinka don't finally find him voice again. But whether Tinubu will listen, the answer na clear no. The man they behave like Nigeria and a family estate where them inherit for real. Any advice we no align with in control instinct, no the enter, make we no deceive ourselves. That's what I Occupy Nigeria says. Imagine your son cruising with battalion level escort while the country they struggle with insecurity. Soyinka is simply saying what millions are thinking. Olaniyi says, if Tinubu decides to arrest him now, people will still complain. But honestly, speaking to the president in that manner makes no sense. It's disrespectful and brings disrepute. There are lines you don't cross, especially with the office of the president. Aliyu Issa Mohammed says, our next tweet, let's have all the tweets, please. So Prof can talk now when it comes to another country, but couldn't talk about the problem in his own country. Anyway, Benin is small to Nigeria, and Nigeria is equally small to some other countries. Tinubu took a stand on invading another country due to their internal crisis. But Nigerians were shouting when Trump was concerned about Nigeria. Even when Nigeria was ruled by the military for years, no country invaded it because of its sovereignty. They only used sanctions, but I guess we've set another precedent in Africa. So Nigeria should just get everything right from now on, because the next mistake can be different, Jolson says. Shey na Bible shey you wan go share for coup plotters. Wetin ancient one dey rap. Hey, gosh, people don't have respect.
The Bible reference is from his birthday, okay.
I'm not entertained at all. Is Seyi Tinubu the chief of staff? Professor Wole Soyinka should just acknowledge that Tinubu is incompetent. They should stop wasting everybody's time. Christopher Iheme says.
Yeah, and a bit of fact checking to do, because that young man that said Nigeria invaded, Nigeria did not invade the Republic of Benin. No. Nigeria intervened on the request of the government of the Republic of Benin. So it wasn't, it wasn't a unilateral action. We didn't go in all guns are blazing
and boots,
or all jets are flying.
Boots are going to be on ground now.
Yeah, boots will.
On the request of the
On the
government.
request of the
But wait. Do we have problem here in Nigeria?
we have enough.
Do we have militants,
Good brotherly
insurgents,
You
terrorists?
cannot go to sleep if your neighbor's house is on fire, and
But
that's
your own
what's
house
happening.
is burning now.
We're also trying to prevent it on all fronts.
Okay.
It's a hydra-headed monster affecting the continent, and when we see ourselves.
Okay, I guess.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand.
Let's go to our third story. Now, this is a very interesting one. The dancing governor, Governor Adeleke, has officially joined the Accord Party, a move coming just days after his widely discussed encounter with the First Lady during her coronation event, where she openly interrupted him and cautioned him in front of guests. The moment that sparked intense debates across the state. We did talk about this here on the show as well. Now, since that incident, political observers say that there has been noticeable tension and speculation about whether the governor felt sidelined or embarrassed, and whether that public exchange played any role in accelerating his decision to leave his former party. Adeleke, while not directly linking the two events, told supporters that his switch to Accord is about finding a platform that aligns with his goals and gives him room to operate without distractions. Now, with his defection confirmed, conversations are shifting to what this means for Osun's political landscape, the alliances he may build next, and how the fallout from the First Lady episode continues to shape the narrative around his political future. You can see the press release that he put out there officially announcing
and that's Government House in Oshogbo. We can see the Accord Party flags flying high.
Flying high.
In the middle of the Nigerian
No
flag.
PDP in sight.
No PDP flag inside.
It's even in
All things have passed
all
away.
things are gone.
Are gone.
New things.
This is a new
are come.
dispensation, Accord.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Well,
Governor
let's see the video.
Nuruddin Jackson.
Let's see the
Adeleke.
video. Let's see the video.
And there you have it. Governor Adeleke is now in the Accord Party. There have been deliberations about where he stands regarding the next election. You know that his administration has not been without its own challenges, especially within the past months. There had been speculations of defections. It's just that people did not think of Accord. Now, Accord does not have as much influence in the state as the other political parties. But one would now think that maybe the fact that the governor has now joined the state will bring some measure of influence in that regard to the party, and we do not know what that will mean for his political future and his aspirations to run for a second term, and if he would be able to clinch that.
We had one of his special advisors last week, and it was very cocky to say that if the governor defected 24 hours to an election, he would emerge victorious. That's the level of confidence he has. And as executive governor of the state, I believe the elections are next year.
2026.
Yes,
Yeah.
so there's enough time for people to get with the program, familiarize themselves with the logo and the name of Accord Party, and he also has the power of incumbency. So things might just go well for him. And another implication of this is that his famous nephew, David Adeleke, who's been a staunch supporter of the PDP, might have to move to Accord
Now
Party.
that you mentioned that,
He may necessarily not have to move.
He will have to support his own goal.
Although
No, move. He's not even a
he's not
politician.
a member of.
He's not a member of any party.
Now that you
But he has
mentioned that,
a- he has
that's a,
responsibility in the
support.
party.
that's a very important thing that you've mentioned, but not just looking at Davido, but looking at the members of the political party. You know that when it comes to the hierarchy of leadership in politics, it's not just about the person at the top, his followers as well, his grassroots. We've seen in other states where the governor moved and mandated the members of his cabinet to move with him to the party.
Something.
Will he do the same? 1, 2. Even if he does the same, will the members of his cabinet move along with him to the Accord party? 3, will the public interpret this as a necessary move or as a betrayal of the trust that they have, given to him? We know that currently as it runs, it is not necessarily people that win political positions, it is parties that win political positions. So whether or not this was a wise decision to make, I guess we'll find out at the point.
Well, you guys have spoken, you've turned the soup, but the pomo and the shaki, you have not brought it out.
Tell us, bring it out.
The pomo there is that, have you wondered why the governor did not move to the APC? Well,
there's no space in the APC.
Pressure. There was pressure, so much pressure. But the governor said, "Mba, I will not go there."
We had a guest on this show that said he wasn't welcome in the APC.
Yeah, until the last
and the Minister of the Blue Economy, the immediate past governor of Osun State, is an active member of the APC. So, and they are at loggerheads. So there's no space.
You brought another meat out of it again.
Yes.
There cannot be two captains in a ship.
Internal political crisis that's been going on there. There's a lot going on in that state. And we do hope that maybe the people of Osun State will be able to breathe or heave a sigh of relief when they eventually move. But let's see reactions from Nigerians, most importantly, before we move on the show. This one is coming from B-Max Legal. It says, this is a significant political shift in Osun State. Governor Adeleke's move from PDP to Accord could reshape alliances and voter dynamics, signaling possible strategic position ahead of upcoming elections. Okay, it's all about strategy. That's what you're saying. Oladele says, Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State has just defected from PDP to Accord party, we know. How does he plan to survive and win the 2026 governorship election against a powerful APC machine, especially now that ADC is also coming strong and will likely split the opposition votes? Is the governor really thinking this through, or is he jumping into a very risky move that might cost him everything? Guys, please help me understand this. Well, we're going to do that, and we're trying to do that as well here. Dear His Excellency, Osun State should have places that can showcase your works in the state, but you seem to not have none or such worthy or gracing your graphical image of Accord campaign. Sir, I hope you would not dance your way out of Osun State House soon.
Is there no proof of meaningful development? Okay, so we have one.
Olamide Miriam says, Osun people, especially civil servants, knew what they went through in the hands of APC administration before Governor Ademola Adeleke. They went through real hunger, stagnant in-job position, no promotion, half salaries and huge debt. Many people died, plus no new employment. That's what Olamide Miriam says. And finally, Olalexis says, bro is going sideways while everyone is joining a winning team. And he's talking about the APC.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget too that in PDP in Akwa Ibom State, the governor had said, now that he's moving, everybody in the cabinet should move. Some decided to wear the new APC shirt and jump into the moving wagon with him. But as soon as they heard that PDP was having a convention, they jumped out and went to enjoy the convention. But unfortunately, he spotted them in videos. And
now that you mentioned,
when they were trying to come back, he said, you get out.
So they're punitive measures.
I saw you. Get out.
You betrayer. But just to mention, Joe, now that you mentioned the PDP, I think this also leaves a huge dent on the reputation of the PDP. PDP has been through turbulent times very recently, and for a sitting governor of your party to leave the party and move to a party that's not as influential as yours, that adds to the reputational damages that PDP has to manage and some of the challenges that they have to deal with. So this will redefine what 2026 elections will look like. It would then say it's not the typical two-party election that we would have, APC versus PDP. Governor Adeleke could be the wild card that Osun State will be bringing from the Accord party. Now, yes, we know that it is political parties, not persons, that win elections. But we saw in the 2023 elections in Nigeria, the one that many people didn't see coming, the influence that the Labour Party brought as a result of Peter Obi being at the front burner of the party. Maybe we might see another replication of that with Governor Adeleke if he's able to convince his followers, his supporters, members of his cabinet that Accord is the place to be. And especially if the citizens are convinced that he did a good job in his first tenure, then it will be easier to convince them that Accord is where it is. 2026, I guess we will see what the next steps are. But then again, people must realize that politicians will always do what is good for them first before they think about
Before we call on the headlines, we're calling for the headlines right now. But there's a big one.
What is?
That they want the red biro. That's what they are coming for. We're saving that one for next. If the viewers understand what we're saying. They want
talking
the
about
red
real
biro,
estate, yes.
is what they are coming for.
But
similar life for Fubara.
Just to quickly mention that Ikechukwu Victory says Mr. Wole is complaining. I think he's referring to one of the tweets. Mr. Wole is complaining because huge security of Seyi obstructed movement of his car. That's why he's crying. He has remained silent concerning the incompetence of his friend Tinubu. You know, touch everyone. He's talking about the Nobel Laureate Wole Soyinka's statement. And then Tim Onwubiko says the Nigerian Senate is horrible. How can the Senate not debate something as important as sending troops to another, something capable of starting an all-out war? Anyway, please let us know what your thoughts are. Go on YouTube or streaming live and drop your chats. Now, let's show you what the headlines are this morning on Breakfast Central. Top stories this morning. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara dumps PDP and defects to APC. Wike faction to hold convention. They are planning to take over the PDP in full. We'll be looking at the impact of conflicting rulings on Nigeria's judiciary. We've seen that happen over and again. Senate probes airfares, WAEC guidelines in new resolution. And we'll be bringing the newspaper front pages to you this morning. Join us for all these and more on Breakfast Central. Welcome back to Breakfast Central. The Nigerian Senate says that it is addressing two major issues affecting national mobility and the education sector. Lawmakers at the resumption of plenary summoned the Minister of Aviation and airline operators over skyrocketing airfares while also halting new examination guidelines released by the West African Examinations Council. The Senate warns that the exorbitant cost of travel and sudden curriculum changes can have devastating effects on citizens. News Central's National Assembly correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings details.
The intervention on airfares follows a motion highlighting an alarming surge in ticket prices, with data revealing that one-way trips on the Abuja-Lagos route have hit 400,000 naira. Sponsor of the motion, Buhari Abdel Fattah, linked the hike to worsening highway insecurity, which has forced more travelers to rely on air transport, a situation other legislators describe as exploitative.
From Abuja to Lagos ranges from 400 to 650,000. Even from here to Ilorin, it's about 450,000. When we noticed all this, the committee, we decided to even investigate further. And we now find out that cut across, people cannot afford to travel.
In the past, there is this intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria, while so many airline operators were given some consideration, in some exemption, concessional rates, and up to now, and I know it's still on. So there is need for us, having known all these facts, to bring all these relevant stakeholders and confront them.
Earlier, the Senate stepped in to hold fresh WAEC guidelines that reportedly changes the curriculum for secondary schools, introducing new subjects and removing computer studies and civic education from the 2026 examination syllabus. Lawmakers say that applying these changes to students already in senior secondary school 3 will trigger a mass failure.
This implies that each pupil will have between 2 to 3 courses to be examined upon in May, June next year, despite not ever offering the courses before and with abysmal preparation.
We wake up, we think of an idea, we seek to implement without preparation. Have we prepared the laboratories, all the necessary equipment to make this kind of subject possible?
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has directed relevant committees to investigate the airfare surge and the education policy shift, mandating them to report back within 2 weeks. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
And there you have it. There have been conversations about negotiating airfares. The airfares have been incredibly exorbitant.
And
right
the
now.
recommendation by the Senate President that they should report back in 2 weeks. Look, 2 weeks time will be Christmas already. And
exactly.
It almost seems there's no urgency. So the citizens are meant to continue paying these exorbitant fees until you come back in 2 weeks time and deliberate. It's really not fair. It's not.
We are in a complete mess. And I'm going to say it again, we're in a complete mess. A complete mess in the sense that, one, the airfares are exorbitant. If you cannot pay it, you have the challenges on the road that you would face, which we all know so well. The increase in insecurity. And also kidnapping.
The bad state of some of the roads.
The bad state of some of the roads. So you are not giving Nigerians any option. No options. You either it's a case of either you go in or you go out. You make a choice or you don't at all. You stay at home. And bear in mind that most people don't live in the urban areas all their lives. They do have homes in the villages or where they stay, especially having left where they live. Maybe someone stays somewhere in Akwa Ibom but decides to work in Lagos for a period of time. He needs to go back. So he's stuck with an option of making a decision to either pay that exorbitant fare or go through the road and live his life in the hands of God. Because tell me, what options are you giving to them? I also feel that because it's affecting some of the lawmakers. I mean, not for respect, we appreciate what they're doing, but I can tell you categorically that
they're not being urgent enough by saying they should report in 2 weeks' time.
And because it's affecting them, you can see how they're really talking.
I don't think it's affecting them.
I agree with you. 2 weeks is too long.
And then the low-hanging fruit, if you recall, we spoke to an aviation expert last week, and he says the tax component of this ticket is huge. These are low-hanging fruits. These are things they can easily sit down to adjust, because what are you doing with all those taxes? You're almost putting this airlines out of business. So if you're going to, if you're able to reduce some of those taxes, then the fares will automatically come down. And it's about time they sat down with all the stakeholders in the industry to say, look, what's really going on here?
It's a problem. But let's move on to another story very quickly and tell you very quickly that the ECOWAS Commission has called on member states to defend and protect democracy within the sub-region. This was during the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council meeting, which took place in Abuja, where the president of the commission, Omar Taure, commended Nigeria for its rapid deployment to the Republic of Benin to defend the democratically elected government following a coup in the West African state. A failed coup, by the way. Taure says that the region is in need of states that are responsive and ready to rapidly deploy to protect the interests of citizens. Let's take a look.
And ECOWAS, we stand and applaud the rapid intervention of ECOWAS under Nigeria's leadership in Benin. I think this is the ECOWAS our community is looking for. An ECOWAS that is rapid, that is flexible, and that is responsive to the needs of our people. We must continue to defend democracy. Excellencies, if ECOWAS is rated today, I think we will have moved a little bit up. That credibility needs to be sustained.
Well, that's the ECOWAS commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking the bold step to ensure that soldiers have been deployed to the region, especially to the state, which is Benin Republic. Recently, a failed coup did happen there, but don't forget too that ECOWAS itself, through its president of the commission, Omar Taure, stated yesterday that they've declared a state of emergency on West Africa. A state of emergency on West Africa. Now, while addressing ministers and diplomats, not forgetting too, senior officials, he did give a sobering assessment of West Africa's political climate, citing multiple incidents as indeed an evidence of rapidly deteriorating security environment. Now, Torre noted that ECOWAS member states currently face an average rating of high risk based on country-by-country analysis containing documents before the ministers. And by country, we simply mean what's been going on, what's been playing out. Don't forget, too, that Africa is faced with a lot of challenges in itself. Part of which I was expecting that he would highlight was the case of leadership. But then again, let me quickly mention what he said. Oliver Bingai said, as you would have seen in the memoranda before you, the country-by-country analysis of our member states show different risk levels across our community, from high to medium, with an average of high risk, thereby demanding immediate and concerted actions. He went ahead to say the risk factors are the persistence of military interventions. He mentioned Guinea-Bissau and Republic of Benin just days ago, non-compliance with transition norms in Guinea, where we face a military leader turning civilian, growing erosion of electoral inclusivity across multiple states, expanding influence of terrorists, and so on and so forth. But then again, declaring a state of emergency in West Africa is one thing to mention during the gathering, but again, saying that that state of emergency translates to enabling West Africa to build on what it has currently, it's another question that many would want to ask or wonder about. Because look at it this way, whether you like it or not, there's an incessant, there's a deliberate leadership failure that needs to be addressed. So ECOWAS, the quality of leadership. ECOWAS is talking about a problem that is, it says it's high risk. But I was expecting that they would detail what is leading to this high risk. Politics is one of it, majorly politics. You have leaders who do not want to, in one way or the other, ensure that the citizens enjoy the dividends of what democracy stands for. I don't know what you guys think.
So, I mean, he mentioned the major trigger. He said that elections have become a major trigger of instability in our community. And you would agree, because a number of the times when we see some of the countries that have a coup, a military coup that has taken over the civilian government, it's because they believe that the democratic process was not fair, or that the democratically elected leaders are not doing the job that they were placed there to do. Insecurity has been a core issue for some of the states or the countries that have military leaders. The primary concern, these Sahel regions, the primary reason they would give is the state of insecurity. Whether the state of insecurity has gotten better after they've taken over is still debatable. But that's the major reason. They come in to say, we've asked for you to fix our insecurity issues for years now. You haven't done anything about it. We might as well take over, seeing as you haven't.
I mean, the real issue for me is the quality of the democracy that we practice in West Africa, especially ECOWAS. Just 2 days ago, 83-year-old Alassane Ouattara was sworn in for his 4th term after he changed constitutional term limits. ECOWAS as a body failed to, look at this elephants in the room. You also have a situation where the Nasingbe Yadema family in Togo, they're collectively, between his son and the father, almost 56 years in office if you combine both. But they will say that's a democracy. And there's also stifling of the civic spaces, freedom of speech, and also the tramping down on opposition in some of these nation states. But ECOWAS is so shy, or maybe they have an issue with discussing the quality of governance that often gives this military boys the excuse to take over power, and then they start with the usual insecurity, corruption, and all of that when they plan the schools. So let's improve the quality of governance in the West African sub-region, and we would see that these schools would reduce to a barest minimum, or wouldn't even happen because they wouldn't have any excuse to take over power.
Well, anyway, we just also want to mention that there was another area of conversation that we probably haven't talked about, and it's the number of displaced persons within the region. And ECOWAS did point out there that over 7 million people across, I'm trying to look for the exact numbers that they called, but that the number of people who are displaced across the region, yes. The ECOWAS Commission President also drew attention to worsening humanitarian conditions in West Africa, referencing the recent UNHCR data. And he said that as of October 2025, approximately 7.6 million individuals are forcibly displaced across the region, including more than 6.5 million internally displaced persons.
That's a lot.
According to these data, the largest displaced populations are Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, while Niger, Mali, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire and Togo host the highest numbers of asylum seekers. And this is a trend that should be reversed. If we don't fix the issues within the countries, within the region, there will be a repetition of these. It would be a downward spiral from here. So I'm glad that this state of emergency has been declared, and we do hope that it forces the leaders within the region to look within and see what we need to do to fix the challenges in our country. We have so much immense potential within our region. You know, when our Western leaders came together in 1975 to say our countries are better together than apart, to establish ECOWAS, they had such huge dreams for the region. If you look at the collective GDP within the region, we have so many resources, human capital development. Like we have a young creative force within the region. If we had to rely on each other alone without stepping outside, we could do fine all by ourselves.
A lot.
We could do well all by ourselves. So I'm hoping that this, forces us to see, we've seen the problems, but then helps us to look within for homegrown solutions for the challenges that are bedeviling our region. Let's now share with you what's coming up next. We've of course begun the top stories, but we still have more coming. This time around, we're looking into politics happening within the country. So let's share what's coming up next. Coming up next, Rivers State Governor dumps PDP and defects to APC. Dumps PDP like a dirty towel. Wike's camp moves to take over PDP amid defections. And Kano accidents. There's been a vulnerable communities blaming perennial water scarcity on the accident. We'll look into that shortly.
In a move that has stunned many, Rivers State Governor Seyi Fubara has officially dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. This comes amidst months of political tension, a public rift with his predecessor and political godfather, and a fierce battle for control of the state's political machinery.
We have the full support, we have a positive nod to live where we are because we didn't get any protection. To go to where the reason why we are still standing is because of that place. And the truth is, without Mr. President, there won't be any His Excellency. It wouldn't be former. So we have every reason, because the truth, let nobody be fooled in this state. We have the people, we have the supporters, and we have the thank you to Mr. President is to support him. Yes. And we cannot support Mr. President in isolation. And we can't support Mr. President if we don't fully identify with him, not backyard support. So we have taken that decision today since we've gotten the pass. Everyone here who have followed me, who have suffered with me, our decision today, this evening, we are moving to APC. have the full support, we have positive nod to live where we are because we didn't get any protection. To go to where the reason why we're still standing is because of that.
All right. Well, it's a defection that raises serious questions about loyalty, governance, and the future of party politics in Nigeria. With Fubara's latest defection, the ruling APC has full control of the entire South-South region. Now, in this strategic move for the governor, or do you think it's actually a desperate move for political survival? Joining us to have this conversation, we do have later on, hopefully he's able to connect, Commissioner for Environment in River State, Honorable Tambari Sydney Bara. Hopefully we'll connect with him. But we do have human rights activist Ankyo Briggs, and who joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're expecting a few more guests to join us because this is not just a conversation that one should have in closed doors. This is a conversation we should have in full glare, in the open. First of all, I want to say thank you for buying our time to speak with us this morning. I do recall a few months back in River State where New Central had a town hall meeting on this particular issue. But it seems like everything that was done for the progress and for the good of the people of River State. But how do you feel seeing this latest development where the governor has decided to say, on your mandate, he will stand moving to the APC, citing that the APC was there to support him, whereas the PDP wasn't there at all to protect him?
Absolutely. Your last few words covers it all. Since this crisis, this madness, this political madness started in River State as far back as 2023, I said right from the beginning that the PDP will be held responsible for what will happen in River State as a political party. I also cautioned, because I had analyzed, though I'm not a politician and I don't want to be, but I will have my say, because politics is what determines whether we're moving backwards or forwards in Nigeria, sadly. I did say at the time that I was certain the aim of the president, and I have taken time to look at the background, the political background, and how the president goes about achieving things, no matter what political party he is in, and what he has achieved in the Niger Delta by making sure that literally every single state in River State is now an APC state, which was the reverse from 1999 till President Bola Tinubu became the president. I said at that time that that was his aim, that his priority was to take over the oil-producing states in the Niger Delta region, that his aim was to take control of the states that were leading into the Gulf of Guinea. The Gulf of Guinea is a very strategic place because the Americans, the Europeans, the Arabs, in terms of resources, not religion, in terms of resources, are interested in those areas, the Gulf of Guinea, because it's a route. I said all these things about what was going on, and that the PDP was docile. The PDP assumed, and I said at that time that they should not take it for granted that in another election that the PDP will win election 1 or 2 or all the elections in the Niger Delta region. And then the issue with Governor Semilaye Fubara developed with Nyesom Wike, who claims that he single-handedly made him the governor of Rivers State. Now, whether this is an agreement between the president, Nyesom Wike, and the governor, I don't know. But it seems to me, knowing my state and knowing the parties involved, that is the governor and the former governor, and knowing the people of Rivers State and the players in politics in Rivers State, I doubt very much that if this is a collective decision that involves the governor of Rivers State. But as I've always said, the politics of Rivers State is a politics of let us wait and see. Because now you see a situation where it seems like Governor Fubara is completely going in one direction. And that direction involves the president. And we're also seeing a play out to see that is indicating that the former governor of Rivers State, the FCT minister, is really out of the circle of what's going on in Rivers State. Now, whether he has achieved in dividing the House, the State Assembly, which he seemed to have been in control of, or if this is all a political game and strategy, we will just have to wait and see. But Fubara, as I have said, is not a fool. I do not. And all of these people going ahead calling him names, it's very, I mean, if I were him, I would be very offended. You can't just continue to be calling a man a fool, a mumu, just because he has decided to make a decision. That decision he has made, it's the people of Rivers State that will decide in the future, not today, whether it is the right decision for him to make, either for himself and collectively for the people of Rivers State. But I assure you that if this decision he has made is not in the interest of the people of Rivers State, the people of Rivers State will speak. I will be one of those people that will speak, not because I'm a politician, but because I have a right to speak what politicians do that I don't like, in my favor or against the aspirations of the people of Rivers State. But am I surprised that he has crossed over? Why should I be surprised? Is there a state right now in Nigeria that will not end up in the APC political party? I doubt it. Majority of the states in Nigeria today that did not win election on the APC have crossed over to the APC. Therefore, the APC has strategically achieved what Bola Tinubu set out to achieve, which is to turn Nigeria into one political party country. Now, whether that is in the interest of the Nigeria as we know it today, or it is in the interest of a handful of people, we will also have to wait and see. I do not think that this is good. I am worried that this is dangerous.
Okay, beyond the worry that you've expressed, I know that from all indications, you also blame President Bola Tinubu, and you sound like Governor Siminalayi Fubara's hands were tied, and he had no choice to move to the party, to the APC. But what are the elders, the leaders, the traditional rulers of Rivers State saying in this moment? Because I recall when this issue was, when we're in the thick of the conflict that was between Governor Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike, he had a lot of support. There were people who were rallying behind him, even in Rivers State. Does he still have that level of support now that he's moved to Rivers State? And are there concerns that right now it would feel like he no longer has control of the state as a governor should typically be expected to have?
Again, taking it from my perspective as a Rivers daughter and as someone who has a voice to express, the traditional, the leaders, let me start with the elders and leaders forum, the one that I actually do belong to. We have not had a meeting on this particular issue. We have had speculations, we have had unofficial discussion on whether Seyi Fubara will move to APC or he will not move to APC. Now, let me just give you a highlight. As we speak of yesterday, I don't know whether this morning or last night, the governor has moved into the government house. But I want to let you know that from the moment of the time he left government house on the 18th of March, and when he was recalled on the 18th of September, the governor is not living in the in government house. He is living in his personal house. Now, whether he has moved, I don't know. For me, that is very significant. Significant in the sense that there is nothing wrong with him living in his house if that's what he wants to do. But there is something that makes me to think that there is something I need to analyze and come to a conclusion on as to why he is living in his home. But I did also say when he was coming back that if I were him, I will not move into government house. I said that even before he came back and took the position. Now, going back to the traditional rulers or the leaders of Rivers State or the PDP leaders, the truth of the matter is that the idea that traditional rulers somehow have gotten themselves involved in the politics, the way that traditional rulers have gotten themselves involved in politics by giving away their traditional rights as leaders in their communities, for me, is worrisome. Because I grew up in my community, and I grew up under this tutelage, if you like, of what traditional rulers are supposed to do in the communities, what head of work in new houses in our instances, in the riverine people's instances, we have work in new houses. No, now the leaders of those work in new houses have quite a say. Now, politics have eroded into those rights, and that is worrisome. But then that's up to the traditional rulers to decide whether they recognize from the view of the people that what they are doing with politicians is worrisome, and that it may not end up well in the interests of the people. But individually, of course, there are traditional rulers that are with Seyi Fubara. There are individuals that are with Seyi Fubara. I am one of those people that believe that since Seyi Fubara is the governor of Rivers State, and that, in my opinion, I believe that he was doing a good job until all of this crisis started. To say that he had an agreement to do this or to do that is unacceptable. You cannot have an agreement with someone who is not a player anymore in the politics of Rivers State. And that agreement now involves, if you like, making decisions that you are supposed to make, somebody else guiding you and making day-to-day decisions of how Rivers State is going to run and who is controlling the structure. The political structure is the structure of the people, because it's the people. Well, it doesn't matter the political party you belong to or whether you don't belong to a political party. You are the structure because you're the one that go out to vote. But now political structures have become structures of individuals. Even the president of Nigeria, he's come this far by controlling from when he became governor of Lagos State, by controlling the political structure in Lagos State. And then he eventually, slowly and quietly, controlled the political structure in the South, in the Southwest. And you can see by what's happening, the hold he has, even on the Southwest, even in the Southeast now, where this is going to lead us, because he's not controlling the political structure of the North. And the political structure of the North is of 19 states as of now, and 3 geopolitical zones. And 19 states is more than 17, or is more than 17 states. So this is going to be interesting moving into 2026, which is when politicking really starts and development take a back seat. And we now have a situation where everybody is trying to tell the president, I am going to deliver you. And the only way you can deliver the president in any state without the people being involved in the process is that you will rig that election. And we're used to elections being rigged in Nigeria. So again, that type of situation will not surprise me. But when it comes to Rivers State, these are very, very interesting times. Similarly, Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, whom I support till now because I still believe he's my governor and I have decided to support him. But I assure you, and he knows, that if I feel for 1 second that what is going on, whether his decision or not, is not in the interest of our people, I will also say so. If I have an opportunity to say it personally, I will. But most times I say it publicly. It doesn't matter whether I say it privately or not. I will say it publicly. My grandmother used to say, what you will not say to somebody in their front, don't say it behind them in their back. So whatever I will say to anybody, I will be ready to say it publicly. And that's what I have said this morning.
Thank you so much for your submission. Ma'am, we would like to bring in our second guest into the conversation, the Honourable Commissioner of Environment in Rivers State, Honourable Tambari Sydney Barra. A warm welcome to you, Honourable, and thanks for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. It's quite a different morning to wake up to in Rivers State. For the last 26 years, the PDP has consistently held sway. Yesterday, your principal decided to switch camps and join the ruling All Progressive Congress. Could you tell us the mood in the state with the cabinet, and also what informed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's decision?
For having me. Well, the mood in the States is very normal, and I can tell you that a lot of Rivers people are happy, in a good mood, because the governor, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, right from his section in office as when he took over, has always stood firm with the people. His actions, his programs, his projects and everything has always been pointed to protecting the interests of the people, those that are downtrodden, those who we see as the organic supporters at the grassroots. And we equally are aware of the turn of events within this period and how he has stood, how he has fought in ensuring that he protects the interests of the people. And so the people have that belief in him, that whatever decision, whatever action that he takes at any point in time is in good faith and in the interests of Rivers State.
All right. The conversations are also on to the fact that this move was, first of all, preceded by what we saw at the National Assembly as well, where 17 members had declared that they are moving away from the PDP to the APC. The Speaker also made that statement, Mr. Mawule, and then others followed. This is also quite different from the fact that they had initially said they were moving before the back and forth. With these political movements here and there and so on, Do you think, Mr. Tambari, that Rivers State has lost a lot of time from what they could have enjoyed in governance, and now they've used that time for politics and so on and so forth, and then now is the time for them to actually enjoy it, but here they are again, they are moving from one political party to another. Do you think Rivers State is really enjoying this time as mentioned? But sadly, I think we've lost connection with Mr. Tambari. But let's take a look at the video. Let's take a look at the video from yesterday's gathering, and then we'll come back and see if we can establish connection. If not, I will move on to our guest who's available. We do have Mr. Tambari who's back again. Can you hear us, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. I'm saying time has been spent. Do you think Rivers State has benefited, if at all, from the current governor? Because it seems there's been politics all through. Almost 3 years gone.
Yes, before I answer your question, before I forget, let me have special greetings to our big auntie in the studio, Mama Auntie Briggs, that has always stood with us and has always supported us. Thank you very much, Mommy. Well, coming to your question, we all know that Rivers State has been set aback for so many years, most especially with the declaration of the state of emergency. But you can equally recall that before the state of emergency was declared, the governor was already on auto drive in the area of development and programs, people's oriented for that matter. Despite the distractions, despite the infighting, they tried everything that was going on. The governor were on very, very major projects that I would.
It seems your connection is not stable, and we're finding it very difficult to hear your points regarding that question. But permit me to move the question over to Auntie Briggs, who's still here with us. So much time has gone. Do you think Rivers has benefited from the dividends of democracy?
Saw what happened to us in Rivers State. It was painful, like the governor said, and the people of Rivers State suffered for what they had nothing to do with, particularly the governor of Rivers State. If you live in Rivers State, you would know that the governor Similayi Fubara, started off well in the interest of the people, and I still believe that that remains his strategy and that remains his focus. But sadly, 6 whole months was taken out, and it's not just 6 months; it's the value of the 6 months. And the value of the 6 months in terms of development of Rivers State, it's not just 6 months, it's more like 5 years what was taken away from Rivers State. And we also have this question that is still hanging over the head of the of IBAS, which is to say that how much money did you meet when you took over in Rivers State on the 18th of March? And how much money did you leave? How much did you spend? Now we're hearing that he said he left 600 billion. That's arrant nonsense. 600 billion. Where did he get that 600 billion from that he's claiming that he left? And where did he leave it? And so now, but we have now a situation where he's making these claims and he's being pushed off somewhere to become an ambassador, as if he's going to be an ambassador for life if he is accepted by that country. But let's come back to Rivers State. I want to make it very clear, as a Rivers daughter, that the people people of River State, the majority of the people of River State, and not 100%, nobody can claim support of 100%, but the majority of the people of River State, from the crisis till today, have thrown their weight behind Governor Seyi Fubara. And if that is the sort of reception the people have for the governor of River State, no matter how anybody wishes it, the people support the governor of River State. And we hope and believe that he will be able to continue. And like he said, the people that suffered with him, he suffered, we suffered in River State. And so if today he has decided, he has not told us why, but if he has decided, looking at how PDP played their card and they played it badly, they should have come out immediately and covered him, supported him, and should have told the minister what to do, to leave the governor alone. But they didn't do that. That was their responsibility. It was not the responsibility alone of the governor to survive. It was the responsibility of the political party on whose platform he became governor to protect him, to make sure that he survived, to make sure that Rivers people were not pushed into this 6 months of unbelievable suffering. That if the governor today have decided with his fellow politicians that are working with him, that for now it is in the interest of him as a governor, the politicians of PDP that have gone with him, then that is what it is. And that's what we will have to work with and live with. Now, if you recall, we have 27 or so members in the State Assembly who we all saw openly cross over, standing on this same mandate that the governor has decided, Governor Seyi Fubara has decided that he is also going to stand. Now, I don't have to stand on a mandate to support anybody that I want to support. So it's not about the mantra, stand on your mandate. If your mandate is not good, I'm not going to stand on it. But it is up to the people of River State. These people crossed over and then went to court to prove that they didn't cross over. And the court can go to APC. And guess what? Less than 2 months or 3 months later, 2 months, they've crossed 2 times. They left, then they came back to PDP, that's one vomit, and then they left the PDP again, and they've gone back to APC, that's the second vomit. Now, all of this just has to stop so that governance can go on in River State. Seyi Fubara is not a fool. Seyi Fubara is not a Mumu governor. He is a human being. He is a man of River State that the majority of Rivers people are standing with. The organic support for this young man is unbelievable. You need to come to River State. I walked kilometers with groups of women, thousands of women that were protesting against what was happening against the state through the declaration of the state of emergency. And so if you see that type of support, you cannot say that this man does not have the support of his people. I hope and I pray for him that moving forward, that he is comfortable in APC to the extent that he will now be able to govern River State the way that we want him to govern River State, and that the resources of River State, whatever it comes to at the end of every month, will go into developing the people of River State and the state itself, and not into any political party elections come 2027. Because the only election that Rivers people's money should be spent in is the election that matters to the people of River State, which is the election of electing a governor, electing representatives, electing our people into positions that they will use to make sure that River State develops and the people of River State are developed. and that we have all the necessities, like you said, all the dividends of democracy, looking at the money that is coming from River State through our resources, and our eyes are going to be quite wide open. My eyes are going to be quite wide open to see what is happening. If President Tinubu, moving forward, is going to really do what is right in River State, because he didn't, he may have think or thought that he was doing what was right in River State. Well, it's come and gone. Let us hope that truly he's going to do what is right in River State. If that be the case, I have no doubt that Rivers people will also do what is right for him, because it is in their interest. But for now, River State is calm. Politicians are calm. The people of River State have accepted that the governor has moved into the APC party. It was expected. The bars and in churches and in places like that, people were discussing it. Will the governor move? Will the governor not move? Well, as of yesterday, we have seen and heard that the governor has left the PDP party because the PDP just did not do justice to the people of River State and to the governor of River State, Ademola Fubara.
So let's bring in Mr. Tambari into the conversation. So are we now agreeing completely that PDP has totally lost influence in River State? And the concern is how in the South we've seen a huge number of defections to the APC. And for whatever reason we might give, reason can be that we want to, like we've heard some governors say that they're trying to align with the center. In this case, he didn't get the support of the People's Democratic Party. But then there's also the criticism of Nigeria becoming or falling into the trap of becoming a one-party state with all the defections. So are we not in some measure now making excuses for something that we have also criticized? Mr. Tambari, I think your audio is muted. Okay, yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, as you can see, this is in politics. There is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, but permanent interest. And like I said earlier, that as the governor has always given us the disposition of standing on the interests of the people of River State. You can see that if you're in a political party, just like our big mommy has said, you need some level of protection. You know, when the needs arises. But at the time of the crisis, our governor was virtually standing alone. In fact, we were standing alone. We fought on our own. We didn't have any support, nobody to run to except God. But at this point in time, now our leader has decided, and he's called on. You can see in that video, he was not alone. There are a lot of people, a lot of us were there. We had an intensive engagement before that decision was taken. He didn't just call us to say, I'm defecting to the APC. He called us and we had an extensive discussion, engagement that took hours before that decision was reached, and then the announcement came. And it clearly shows and indicates that we have moved on from PDP to APC, saying that we did not have any future in PDP. And now we are seeking our new future for Rivers people, for our governor to be able to concentrate and deliver the dividends of democracy. That is what the governor and what Rivers people desire and deserve. And we hope that this we are going to get in the APC, working directly with Mr. President. Because you can see that when this crisis started, Mr. President, yes, had intervened one time or the other as a third party, or like as a father who is presiding over 36 states and see that there are crises in some states and wants to step in. But right now, if he's coming in as a father talking to his own children, that belong to same family. And so therefore, we believe that the approach and what we come out of will be different from the way it was before. And so therefore, like I said, and I'll continue to reiterate, this is all to ensure that Rivers State gets that dividends of democracy, that good governance that the governor desires to give to the people. He needs the concentration. He does not need any distraction whatsoever. I don't want to go back to rhetoric of things that has happened before, because it will amaze you that immediately, as soon as the emergency rule was lifted by the president, we saw a sitting of the assembly making demands from the governor, even when he was not yet in the country, to come and take over. So you can see that the distraction started from the very day that the president lifted the state of emergency. And this is not good for our politics. This is not good for our democracy. This is not good for our people. We have lost so much. Just like our mom is enumerated, we have lost so much, and we need to move on. We need to move forward. And so the governor needs that concentration. He needs to relax and deal with the situation in Rivers State and take care of things. I haven't lost 6 months. Now, in 2 months, he's still putting things in place to ensure that he kickstarts. And there is no way he can move on with these distractions here and there. We are having meetings. In fact, the governor has ceded nearly everything in the state just for peace to reign. He has given out the 23 local government, all the juicy board, everything he has given. He has surrendered everything just for peace to reign. And yet, we still have these pockets of distractions here, agreement today, not agree tomorrow. We see all manner of worrisome, interactions and communication going on in the states. And so if this is the solution, if this is the window with which Rivers people can enjoy at least this remaining tenure of the governor, then so be it. We have our support fully, with our full chest, to give him that support. When you try one thing and it doesn't work, try the other one. That is what the governor is doing. And he has explained to us explicitly that we understand with him. And we are fully and committed to be with him. And then we equally look forward to Mr. President, giving us that fatherly cover and that fatherly advice and guidance to ensure that Rivers people enjoy the dividends of democracy. Whatever thing that will cause any misgiving, any crisis, should be able to be addressed and taken care of in-house, and not us continue washing our dirty linen in the public.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bara. We'll go on a quick break. We still have quite a few things to unpack on this issue of the governor's defection, the Rivers State Governor, Fubara, to the ruling APC. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick timeout.
We have the full support. We have a positive nod to live where we are, because didn't get any protection.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Central, and there you have it, members of the River State Executive singing the President's campaign anthem, "On Your Mandate You Shall Stand." And in case you're wondering what context was that video done in, after 26 years of holding sway as the dominant party in River State yesterday, Governor Seyi Fubara decided to jump ship and join the ruling All Progressive Congress. Join us for this discussion this morning. We have the Honorable Commissioner for Environment in River State, Honorable Tambari Sidney Bara. We also have human rights activist, Madam Ankyo Briggs, with us. Now, back to you, Madam Ankyo Briggs. It's been quite an interesting discussion that we've had this morning. We talked about time lost, the 6 months, the infighting between the State House of Assembly and the governor, and also the unfortunate suspension and emergency rule. But if you look at River State today, following the defection, everything seems to be calm. There are little or no distractions. But next year is the penultimate year to a general election, and Governor Seyi Fubara will be up for re-election in 2027. Quite a number of people might see it as another level of distraction. If you could advise Mr. Governor, what would you tell him as we move forward? What are your expectations now that everything seems to be all well and good in your state?
It's the expectation that I would stay with, because I'm not to advise the governor publicly, because I'm not one of his advisors. I can have a discussion with him privately, but I can't advise him publicly, but I can have an opinion. There are expectations of Rivers people, rightful expectations. And I am of the conviction up till now that he intends to provide as much as he can those expectations that people have to receive from him as the governor, as is their right to receive the dividends of democracy, which is all the things that
Hello, Madam Briggs, are you still with us? We seem to be having some connection issues.
For the people of River State. The fact that we see the supporters, the people who have been with the governor throughout all of these things, it's not a surprise to me. But again, I say that we should allow, that is meaning that now that the 17 people have crossed over to APC, to APC, and the governor also is now in APC. He's moved into APC with people who very clearly are not his friends. So how that plays out and is handled is also something that is of concern to me. So my expectations are that the governor is going to be able to also maneuver within the waters of APC. Politics in Nigeria is infested with sharks, and everybody playing what is in their own interest. And I hope that the governor will be able to maneuver within where he has gone into, because if you recall, immediately the EBAS left, one of the first things that the House did was literally attack the governor by the way they spoke to the governor. It was it was done literally by threat. Do like this, or we will do like this. Do like this, or we will do like this. And then we had a week ago, we had the issue of dilapidated educational system. Now, that's not very true. Our educational system has been in problem for a very long time. I think the last person that did anything about changing roofs or leaking roofs and providing means of education, not all of the time and not all the schools, was the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi. And so if you're going to discuss and blame the governor for the education system, that's not right. And so I began to see that, as I said, when they claimed that there was peace, that this peace that they said between the governor and the former governor when they came out of the villa with the president on that day, saying that there is peace now, we have agreed to work together, there is peace. I remember saying when I was asked that just because they said that there is peace does not mean that there is peace. And that actually played out. So I'm hoping, therefore, I'm expecting that as he is now in the APC, that the president who's made sure that he has moved into APC and the APC system that have accepted him will now realize that he is in APC.
All right, network issues there once again, but it's been very, very lengthy a conversation that we've had concerning the recent movement of the River State governor moving from PDP all the way to APC. A very interesting conversation, guys. I want to know if we still have Honorable there with us. Is he still there? Okay. Let's take your final thoughts on this as we wrap up. I want to wrap up this conversation very quickly. Now that the River State governor has moved to the APC, does this mean that we'll be seeing a lot of persons in River State political space and also in the cabinet move to the APC as well? Or is it still going to be a case where some will move and majority will remain because, in quotes, the political godfather, the FCT minister, hasn't moved yet?
Yeah, well, we all know that the crisis brought about a divide in the political family that we had earlier in River State. We have those of us who believe in the governor, and we felt we had a governor who should be allowed to run the state as others have been, the way it has been with other governors, to be in charge and use his tactics and whatever thing he wants to do to ensure that he delivers. There are some who felt contrary to that, and so you know that there is a clear divide in River State, and the peace that was propagated, which we all hoped was going to be the political solution to the political crisis in River State. Even when we saw that the alignment was dragging a little bit, we expected an improvement in the relationship, because all what we are talking about is individuals, what you believe in and what I believe in, and how we can put this together in the interest of the state, surrendering our personal interests and putting the interest of the state forward first. So that is what we were looking at, and our principal, we know, has sacrificed in line with what he said from the beginning, that nothing is too much for him to sacrifice for peace to come to River State. And I can believe that today both Rivers people and Nigerians will see that and agree with us that he's a man of his words. And before now, we have made our position clear that it's about His Excellency Ademola Fubara. Whichever color he turns into, we are with him and we will follow him. So now that he has decided to move into the APC, you will see the mass movements of Rivers people that will follow him to APC because we believe in him. And like I said, the human mind, everybody is entitled to their own decision to say if they will follow him or not maybe those on the other side might decide to say at this point, okay, let us bury our hatchet, because what we are preaching is peace. We should bury our hatchets and present a common front for the interests of River State. And that is what we stand for. So those who decide to have this ideology with us, they are welcome. It will be a good thing for us to see them. So we are all moving with the governor, all our supporters, everybody, we are all excited and we are waiting for the next directive from the governor on what to do to continue to show our organic support to the governor.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Tambari, for speaking with us. And we look forward to see what will happen in the few days to come, if there will be a complete political shift in River State. You've mentioned that you stand with the governor, and that's good to know. Thanks for your time. Thank you so much.
We'd also like to extend a thank you to Madam Ankil Briggs for her time with us this morning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we have more information here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
Hello, welcome to Breakfast Headlines. I am Benga Aborowa. We begin by telling you that Nigeria's lawmakers have approved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's request to deploy troops to the Republic of Benin following last weekend's attempted coup in the neighboring country. The President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, read the executive communication which stressed the urgency of stabilizing Benin to protect democracy in the West African sub-region. Lawmakers unanimously backed the deployment, describing it as a vital shield for Nigeria from the ripple effects of regional instability. The Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, have resolved to continue the indefinite nationwide strike. JOHESU also accused the federal government of failing to release the circular and salary table required for the implementation of the adjusted consolidated health salary structure. The decision was announced in a communique issued on Tuesday at the end of JOHESU's expanded National Executive Council emergency virtual meeting held on Monday, and was signed by the JOHESU National Chairman Kabiru Minjibir and the National Secretary Martin Egbanubi. In commemoration of World Anti-Corruption Day, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has met with stakeholders in a bid to end corruption in Nigeria's procurement process. This was at a workshop in Abuja where the ICPC chairman says that procurement corruption is the major source of financial leakage in Nigeria. The chairman of the ICPC, who was represented at the event, called for tighter procurement enforcement, adopting of e-procurement and stronger legal measures, including tougher sanctions and better functioning anti-corruption agencies to help mitigate procurement challenges.
Government accounts for an estimated 10 to 25% of Nigeria's GDP, making it the single largest area of government expenditure, and consequently, the highest quantum of corruption prone. Procurement represents a critical juncture where policy meets practice and where budgets transform into tangible projects or disappear into private pockets. And of course, you know what we mean. It's either the work is being done or it's goes the other way. We have to support Public Procurement Act review and amendment to close loopholes and impose severe penalties and sanctions. We have to champion the establishment of special crimes court for expedited corruption prosecution.
I want to assure you and I want to commit that we will enforce procurement audits jointly with ICPC and any other anti-corruption agency. Why? Because monies, projects, the lands, insecurity, wastages that we experience today is because Nigerians don't have fair opportunity to do business in this country. It's only collectively that we can reduce.
Outside Nigeria, tensions are high in Tanzania after the government outlawed planned protests over its disputed victory in elections in October. Police and soldiers were patrolling largely empty streets in major cities on Tuesday, Tanzania's Independence Day, after the government preemptively ruled that any protest will be illegal and treated as a coup attempt and urged people to stay at home. Activists have called for protests over the ruling party's victory in the vote on October the 29th. Rallies contesting the elections met a crackdown in which hundreds of people were killed and more than 2,000 detained. And that's all on Breakfast Headlines at this hour. Do stay with us. Breakfast Central continues shortly. I am Benga Aborowa.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what the front pages of the papers are saying. We do have our guest who's in the house, public affairs analyst Olusesan Okwade is here live. And I didn't want to mention the other, powerful...
Avid golfer, chartered accountant.
You can never introduce him without that chartered accountant because he didn't buy
a lovely husband and father, many things.
And a powerhouse. When our analysts, virtual analysts on YouTube, they say, they listed, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and they were listening, say, your powerhouses, and your name was in the list.
Wow. For top 10.
Thank you very much for that, accolade. Good
and
morning
compliments of the season to you.
Yeah, compliment of the season, and welcome back, Oliver. I think we just seen after your arrival.
Oh my goodness.
And it's good to relax.
Back.
Yeah, just got back, and I think I will say better.
I don't know. I just got back from Cotonou.
Okay,
let me ask
let's begin.
First. Have you ported?
To APC.
Okay,
No, he cannot do that. He's
No. It's not only.
He's apolitical.
We are on our own just to give a view to what is going on.
Okay, let's begin what we came here to do.
Let's start what we have come here to do. I will start with the Daily Nigerian Tribune. This one, give me soundtrack. Don't let me go and do a one, a two, a three. Okay. Fubara joins APC. PDP loses out in South.
Completely.
Southeast. It's a what would I call it?
Sweep.
It's like a pandemic sweeping over the whole nation.
Yeah, that's what they call.
They are using broom to
that's
sweep
what
all
they
their
call.
leaders.
That's massive.
I don't understand you.
Well, Adeleke joins the Accord Party, the one governor who has decided, if nothing, I respect his refusal to join the bandwagon. If he must report to somewhere.
Governor Seyi Makinde is still, anyway, he's a second-term governor, so where is he porting?
Exactly. This one is someone that his future, his political future will be determined by his move. Only 4 governors remain in former ruling party. Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy troops in Benin Republic. Community in a state of emergency. ECOWAS warns as schools in security deepen regional crisis. Applauds Nigeria for foiling Benin coup attempt. Burkina Faso did not ground NAF C-130. NAF clarifies.
So what happened?
Okay, we'll go into that shortly. Senate condemns abysmal rise in airfares. Someone's minister, fan, airline owners, others. One ticket equals 5 months minimum wage, according to the Senate president. Nigeria, Saudi Arabia signed 5-year defense cooperation agreement, and Tinubu urges youth to dream big and sustain creativity and innovation. And then we also have here, still on the front page, Kogi government says 21 children rescued from suspected banditry training. This is really, really sad. Anyway, before we go into the details, I wanted to read a comment on YouTube that is reflective of the one ticket thing. Yes, Ako Dubola says, as at last week, Friday and Monday, Abuja to Lagos, 200,000 naira plus.
Yes, sir.
Vice versa. And the annoying thing is that you can't book online again. If you are going to the East for Christmas, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is. He says you can't book online again, and if you're going to the East for Christmas, I'm sure that by next week, airfare will get to 350,000 naira. Anyway, let's start with your thoughts on Fubara joining the APC.
I can only say that it's long overdue. We've been waiting for that to happen. I remember there was a word from people that more people would defect from PDP to APC. And looking at the shenanigans that Fubara has faced, I was expecting this to happen. And don't forget, all the members of the state assembly are already APC. So looking at his future for the second term, it will be politically right for him to defer to where everybody is. And you know the Godfather himself, even though he's still in PDP, but everything about him, he should be in that party that is currently serving.
He seems to have forgiven him for his sins, and all is well now. It's all combined.
No, he's busy fighting PDP war. He's there. He's not
so
really
the concentration is not on the governor. Yes. And the governor just feels that, okay, now that my godfather has another battle that is fighting, let me align and see the way to move. So you see, a lot of us have said this, and it's what we will continue to see. Majority of the politicians is all about their interest and what they start to gain. And I saw a particular video which I've actually called my thinking to say, this season where we now have full-time politicians are no longer what it used to be. I saw a video.
What do you mean by full-time politicians?
Majority of our politicians is they don't have any other thing doing than just thinking of how to galvanize when they finish this term, how to go next time. When you leave governor, how to go to Senate, or even become local government chairman, you know, just be in line. Some don't mind to leave gubernatorial seats and go and contest for the councillor of their ward, all to be politically relevant.
You're exaggerating.
No, that is not exaggeration,
Why do you think our legislature is like retirement plan for all the
for most governors? So they just want to do that. So
they don't want to live like ordinary civilians anymore.
That's why I saw a video trending about the former governor of Lagos, Fashola, The only thing I'm yet to validate is it a current video or is something people have to, but people said it's a current, I saw the trending. And I'm like, that is a man. When you are called to serve, serve and go back to practice. But I can tell you, majority of the people that we have currently serving are full-time politicians. So when they leave a seat, and that's why they can go all out with all desperation to make sure that they secure something. And so when you don't give them a particular thing, that's why they will tell you, oh boy, it's just to remain relevant. Let me be councillor. By next year, they will move me to House of Assembly. Other time, we should avoid, demotivate this thing that we are actually getting, and that is when we can get value.
Also promoting it, because if you look at the president's ambassadorial nominee list, is filled with politically exposed persons. So it's almost like a compensatory list. Politically exposed persons, it's like you're rewarding favors and here and there. So we need to make politics less attractive.
That's what I allow the people.
The amount they pay lecturers and a university professor.
Even a lot of people are saying, can we even make our legislators be on part-time, where you just go do your normal work, come in the afternoon, have a sitting, as a lot of us have actually been doing, maybe with one professional body or the other. You just come, you take your life, because we believe and we know that you have more than enough. That is why you can contest for that political office. And what you claim to tell individual, you are there to serve. So a lot of these, the remaining 4 governors, we don't know what will still happen between now and 2027. Whether those ones will stick there. At least if nobody is leaving, I know that Seyi will not leave. Because Seyi is having his second term. And that's Engineer Makinde of Oyo. He's having his second term. And he wants to hold on to that particular party to say, the same way Ashiwaju stood with APC from ACN, he too is being there and there. And for my governor who has defected to Accord Party, congratulations to him. I think I said it last week when I came, even when we've not gotten the claim. I feel that's the party that it can actually dictate what he wants, and he will really easily have his way.
But does he have time? Because elections are next year in Osun State. Does he have the chance against the APC machinery, knowing that the family member and the immediate past governor, Oyetola, the Minister of the Blue Economy, is there, the APC is entrenched in Osun State. So his stance is strong.
See, when it comes to this politician, there are a lot of things that happen behind the scene that is not known to us. So when they will sit down, they used to know there are times you will be in a particular political party, and on the face, you are fighting for your party, but behind the scene is a different ball game. So, and that, we've had instances where we ask them, why are you doing this? They say, that's part of politics. So it's not what you see on the surface that you should be. So whether he has the chance or no chance.
You talked about things we've seen on the surface. Governor Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke. He openly endorsed. He openly endorsed President Tinubu for 2027.
Yeah.
When he was in PDP, does that endorsement still stand now that he's an Accord Party? Knowing that Accord Party too would go to primaries and put up a presidential aspirant.
I can tell you that.
Would they have to tell him to recant that statement?
But before now, what is the position of Accord Party at the federal level?
Not strong.
Not strong. So you are coming in with someone who will tell you that I have the ear of Mr. President. So that declaration for Mr. President for 2027 still stands and is going to be part of the thing. So if he's able to have the ears of the center to say, no, now let this man just fulfill his second term and allow him to go, then we can reinstate. That's why I said there are things that happen behind the scene that is not known.
Why does he need the approval of Science? Is it not the people of Osun State that would decide who their governor will be?
I think, Benga, I mean, you've asked.
Am I being naive?
You are being sarcastic.
You're asking. I mean, I was putting down something while you were asking a few questions, ideas. But there's a question I want to ask. Benga's asking the right questions, and I wish we could turn that into a program. I mean, questions from a journalist. Fact. But my point is...
They weep.
Write it down.
No, it's written down already.
Olive doesn't have her own. Let me also write down my own.
But you know, we have to.
Great minds.
Some people are watching now. They'll say, that's a good show. Let's quickly carve it and create it. But if you steal it, we know where it came from. He asked a big question, and I want to follow up with another question. If he endorsed President Bola Tinubu, and now that he has moved, my question would be, this one that everybody is moving to the APC, could it be that there's a big offer, or the Sahara statement made earlier, the Sahara reporters, that they are being given something? Does it look to be true? Because it's starting to look worrisome that everybody's starting to align with the center. What happened to the mandate? And do you also think that our policy, the Nigerian constitution, should actually be looked into seriously? Because it's favoring some now, nobody's talking. Maybe in 8 years' time, if the table turns,
they will compare. And we have this way of copycat. And after all, they did it in the administration. Nobody talked.
Obasanjo, they invaded the states that time. Nobody talked. Jonathan, they do this.
Joe, you see, this thing that is happening are part of the things we've actually put up to say. The politicians need to stand in a place where people will accord that trust in them. And when you see things play out like this, you are asking everybody is aligning. The man at the center, one of the fear, where a lot of people said they hardly wanted Mr. President to be at the center, is they refer to him as master strategist. And that we're seeing playing out. People that saw this years back said this is actually what will happen. And we see him playing out. In fact, most of the thing that you see happening, people will say that the hand of the political party, I'm sure you've had several of that, that if you see challenges in ADC, in PDP, in this party, that it is the hand of the ruling party.
But the voice of
but the voice of other people that are actually voicing out. I will say this categorically. Joe, we are not politicians, but that is politics. And it happens everywhere to use everything within your capacity to galvanize that which you can have to yourself. A lot of us question it when subsidy was removed, that our expectation is that the fund from that subsidy will be used at the center to develop something that will be beneficiary to all. Take, for example, resuscitating our refineries, where we can talk about having our own. What Olive read about aviation, having our own national carrier that can ease business processes and the like. But Mr. President, in his wisdom, said, I need to take this to the grassroots. And he empowered. A lot of governors said, now we have money. So it's a strategy on his part to look at. So when you have been given money and you see the way it's going, will you on your own want to act against the person that is actually taking care of making you to be a star in your state? They may reverse it when Mr. President comes in 2027 to now say the subsidy money you no longer get. But at least he has achieved, and that is why a lot of them want to form alliance in line and in sync with what Mr. President is doing. But I can tell you that holistically, from what we have had, everything going on is politics. And that's how those games are being played in politicking.
Okay, let's go to another paper very quickly. We have more papers to look into. I think we should delve straight into, I like Daily Independent. Daily Independent is loaded with a lot of stories. Out of school children polls national emergency, according to Shetima. It says so. Fubara finally dumps PDP, joins APC, cites need for stability. He says, indigenous shipping fleet near collapse due to CVFF stagnation. But let's leave all that story and come to the bottom left corner. It says, kidnapping school children lesser evil than killing soldiers. Sheikh Gumi speaks again. I want us to focus on this.
It's almost like
I read this story. I stumbled on it yesterday, and I took my time to read the first two paragraphs, and I stopped reading, and I let it go.
I'm so sorry.
I want your thoughts on this. As a journalist, there's so many questions, and you read certain things, and you try to juxtapose it with what some other persons have said that got them picked up by the DSS, got them picked up by the police.
And some of them still left in correctional facilities.
They are still there till date. Some of them have not even gotten a date for trial. But here you have someone who has
who appears to be untouchable.
He has become prominent as a result of being the carrying out a tete-a-tete, or being the middleman between the country, not Nigerians alone, no, the whole country versus the kidnappers or the bandits. And here he's spewing a lot of things. Last week he said another one, that the kidnappers, terrorists are not bad people. Okay? He also said another one over the weekend, that the Nigerian military will not succeed in removing the terrorists. And here he is now with another one saying kidnapping school children is even lesser evil than killing soldiers.
You see, he speaks...
Making excuses for criminality.
Yeah, he speaks volume, the way and manner we are handling this issue. And that's why a lot of people said this issue of kidnapping, terrorism may not leave us in a very short time. It might be an evil that we need to live with over the years, because there are a certain set of people. And you see, with the way Gumi is speaking, you are emboldening other people to come out. To now say, if this man is carrying out all these utterances and nothing is happening, then we can, even when you don't have link with the bandits, you can come and just be saying certain things so that you can get attention. And they will look at your door. As far as I'm concerned, by now, we should be asking questions. Gumi should not be a free person that will move around. But it's best known to the government why they are actually handling his case the way it's actually going. And you can't, I'm not a military person, I am not at the aim of affairs. We are only saying it that you don't allow evil to actually grow for a very long time.
Yeah, to fester.
And, to fester for a very long time, because other people will be learning from it. With this that is actually being said, those that are actually considering to join the bandwagon of being kidnapper and battery, you are emboldening them the more. Because these are instances that we should not see.
You are rationalizing their wicked acts.
Because you see, there are things you say that reorientate the mind of individual. You have something in your mind, and you are just considering, should I do it? Should I not do it? And somebody is just coming with a statement to say, those that are actually doing it, they are not doing bad things.
It's adding sweetness.
Yeah. They are not doing bad things. If indeed this has actually been done, what you have done, that person in his own small closet, you have emboldened him to say, okay, yes, I think I can go that route. And that's why we say most of the time when they when they kidnap people, when they pick some of these people up, the school children, it is not about releasing them that is always my issue. Do you know the kind of psyching, the kind of discussion they've had with these children at that very tender age that is reorientating their mind? You can bring them back home, but some things will stick into their brain to say, okay, while we are there, these are few things that they've... This kind of discussion is not something that we should be having in the public, because you don't know how viral this information will go, and you don't know the intent of individual. And that's why a lot of us will say, can we be decisive of the way this is Yuletide season now? People will just be picked up and down. And you know that, like they keep saying, they have more sophistication in tracking individuals, their movement. The next thing, the same bandits will just call up on people, pick them up, and the next thing you hear that the person is missing. So that is why I feel the level at which we are handling this issue of, in fact, I feel more for the military men, because right on their face, they see a lot of people that are actually killing their fellow colleagues, being reintegrated back into our system. People that ordinarily, if you have given them the opportunity, they would have killed them without even talking. But because we are in a democratic setting, they have to present them, allow them to face the law. They see a lot of them under amnesty being reintegrated back into the system. I'm not talking of reintegrating them back into the military system, but into our community, and they go freely. We use taxpayers' money to even empower them. And the people they have displaced are still in IDPs, suffering. Not just suffering alone. A lot of them are now becoming productive in baby manufacturing because they don't have anything doing, which is increasing the bottom line as regard our population. It's worrisome. But it is what it is.
And Olive raised a very important point on the double standards and the sort of message it sends. When you have certain people that are untouchables and the DSS is running helter-skelter to arrest people just expressing their views and making statements that are critical of the government. And then you have an active citizen, not once, not twice, is making excuses for criminals. He knows where these bandits are. He interacts with them on a regular basis, and he's excusing their criminal behavior. I mean, it's about time we have an explanation as to why he still remains a free man. But let's take this call for Francis.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Francis. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Yes, my popular quote has always been that the Nigerian politicians are surprised that we believe them, even when they don't believe themselves. The way this country is structured in a way that these people keep telling us, I'm saying this because of the defections. Political window, transfer window has been open since Tinubu became president. Like your guest in the studio, he has said, we understand this politics. I understand Nigerian politics. It's different from other politics in other climes. So Nigerian politics, if Atiku is president today, I will tell you everything that will happen. Tinubu is, since 1999 till now, he is the first politician, the first original politician that is a president. And you know what original politicians do? They want to make sure that no party is functioning. No place is functioning. So if they tell us, hey, one party state, look, if Tinubu have a way to make it no party, that he will be the party, he will do it. That is politics. So if we continue to believe our politicians, Governor Fubara have said, oh, we want to organic support, we have to. It's because you need a second term. You need a second term. It's not for Rivers people, it's not for me, it's not for anybody. Our dancing governor from Osun State, I love his flair, everything about him. It is for his personal purpose. These things they are doing is for their personal selves. Finally, before I go, I will say this again. Nigeria is a good product, but we are yet to get a good charger to charge Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Francis.
That's the word of the day. Nigeria is a good product, but we're yet to get a good charger.
We need the original charger.
So the power is drained. We're on 5 bar. We've been going down. We're not charging. Anyway, let's look at this story again very quickly. I like your thoughts on this, not just because you are a public affairs analyst, but because you also have a background when it comes to accounting. And anybody who has a background in accounting is also aware of business. And that's why our guest here is...
And you're accountable.
He's very what's that word now? He's
a numbers man.
He's a numbers man, and he has a lot in store. The big story on Daily Independence, one of the big stories, not just the big story. Nigeria unveils lucrative mining incentives to lure global investors. Alaki announces over $2 billion inflows into lithium rare earth projects. Why are we looking at this story? I'm just going to give you a quick background before we get your analysis, also to benefit the viewers. One, the northern governors met just last week. Part of the complaints they made was that they need to put a ban on mining for at least 6 months. They believe that if they do so, it will reduce the number of kidnappings, killings, and insecurity. Because, two, there's a backstory that while all of these incidences are taking place, businesses are going on as normal at the back end, where Nigeria's rare earth gems are being unearthed and used for business. Two, the miners kicked back and said, no, don't ban. We also saw that in the newspaper, front pages 2 days ago, said, please don't ban us for 6 months. We will not allow it. What is Nigeria doing and the minister doing? Rather than look at the situation of things, they are now bringing out a new incentive. How does that work?
Thank you very much, Joe, for that question.
But would you hold your thoughts for a second? Let's take this call from Kingsley from Edo State. Hello, good morning, Kingsley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Edo State. I just want to make some request. All these our politicians, they are decamping. There's no problem. There's nothing lasts forever. Even outside perfume, it will not last forever. Let everybody decamp. They are making the country one party state. There's no problem. Like when I was watching your program this morning, they say Wike did not decamp or that kind of thing. But Wike is not going to contest in anything. His appointment. But he's already in APC. If maybe we contest with governor in LCT, now we say, okay, he did not become. He's going to be in appointment. Let's wait, maybe 2027. Let's wait what will happen. Thank you very much.
It's oud.
It's lasting.
I was oud. You know it lasts forever.
Please, let's move on.
It's a lovely fragrance.
Moving on, big guy. Moving on.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't even know where to start from. First of all, we had the charger. Now it's oud.
Yes.
Have you tried Arabian oud?
Go ahead, please.
Back to our discourse.
Yes.
You know, my position when the Northern governor came to say, well, let's ban the issue of mining. I looked at it from the perspective of the economic impact on us as a country. That you identify the problem of saying we have illegal miners. What are the measures that are actually being put in place to curb this thing? These miners we are talking, they are not people that invested 1 million, 10 million. It's a massive investment because of the equipment that you actually need to put in place. You know, we faced during the crude oil theft that a lot of people will say they are actually stealing our crude oil. And you look at some of those things that they put in place to tap some, they are not things that you buy maybe a pipe of 1,000 or 2,000. They are, you know, sophisticated equipment. So you ask yourself, one, how do they have access to be mining those things? Are we saying that they are more empowered than the security people that are supposed to man some of those things? And I personally stood against the position of the Northern governor to say that will not work because you are killing us economically. People who are doing the legit, who are doing the legit, who have invested, they borrowed money from the bank, they did a lot of investment into some of those things. So you can't come overnight. So all we need to do, which are part of the things we have been advocating for, can we move to changing our security apparatus and empower the governors and let them know, okay, even though you don't have control over these mining, the things that we have as natural resources, but it's your responsibility to provide security and make sure that it is the people that are approved that are having access to it. I will not go the route to say we should shut down a particular thing. What you are doing is that you are giving boldness to those that are carrying out that illegality, and they have won the battle.
And they will still continue anyway.
Whether you shut them, when they said they closed the border not to bring some of those contraband, are those things not coming in?
Yeah.
You see how people that will go through the back door and see how to compromise the system.
I wanted to ask you something. You talked about changing our security apparatus. What would that look like for you? Is it changing the personnel? What exactly would that look like?
It's dividing the power from the center. I've said it times to that number. What we operate now is top to bottom. Everything from the federal to the states to the local government. No, we want a situation where the traditional leaders can be empowered to say in your own domain. You can imagine if there is peace at Benga's constituency, there is peace here, there is peace here. At the local level, it will metamorphose into having that area to be peaceful for business transaction. The state will not have so much problem because I want to be seen. It becomes what we call LD competition of saying my area is actually peaceful and I'm attracting investors to come into my local government, into my domain, even with that which I have. Then the state can be peaceful. But situation where a lot of crises that are actually happening are not even happening at the center. You know, the last time we had discussion about the kidnapping in Benue, in Kebbi. It's about 7 hours drive from the center.
Absolutely.
Who thinks about that particular area? Those areas where some of these things are happening are where we lack governance and proper administration. So you can imagine if in an area there is a police station, not police post, police station, where it is the people that have understanding of it. They can monitor the security activities in their environment and report swiftly for action. The state will even have minimal problem. Then the federal can now concentrate maybe on the highway, just like we have in developed crime, where you have the metropolitan police, those that are the federal level, and the likes.
Yeah.
No, those are the things I feel we need to do to address this problem of, I will not support. And I think what the minister is saying is staying focused. But how much, what I'm calling him out for this morning, how much are you doing? Investing in a place where we have been seen, where he himself came up the other time to tell us that we have the cabals that are not allowing things to actually
prevail.
prevail.
Also developed mine rangers to secure mines and stop illegal mining.
But those illegal mining is still ongoing.
Okay,
so how do you balance those things?
We need to work on the capacity. But before we go, let's take a look at this. Festive season, we did cover it by our National Assembly
we need to be quick. There's an important conversation we need to take.
Demand, I mean, they're talking about fares, one-way fares in Nigeria, 400,000 to 650,000. It's ridiculous. Is there anything about December that makes the prices go up? And economically, is there anything that this airlines can do? Because the Senate says the committee should go and report and get back to them. After 2 weeks, Christmas has finished though, in 2 weeks' time. So there's no sense of urgency there. And it looks like Nigerians will be at the mercy of this airline operators.
Truth be told, there are a lot to this thing. In December, you expect a lot of things to go on the other side, because when you look at the basic of economics, it's demand and supply. Are we going to inject more in terms of supply to take care of the demand? A lot of people that cook 2 cups of rice, you know, at December wants to cook 3, 4, 5. You are putting pressure on the demand. So when you have, it's just the basic economic principle to say when demand outweigh your supply, definitely the price of that particular product must definitely go up. So that's what we say.
I can't spend that type of money.
That's why you stay where you are. So when there is no demand,
that's the problem. Stay there.
No, stay where you are.
But that's harsh.
It's
You've
not
seen
harsh.
family in a whole year. You want to go in December. I mean, and it's not the same all year round.
Is not
so
safe.
why?
So the truth of it is, if you cannot afford, so with you, you know, saying that you cannot do it, that is -1 of the demand. Maybe by the time you now have supply, which is another basic
problem. Yeah.
supply outweighing that of demand, definitely the price will crash, because that's when you see them doing promo.
Exactly.
People will now say,
Fly
to this place and connect another one.
Yeah.
When you see such thing happening, it's because there are no sales. But when you have opportunity to maximize the money, so if you are not going and Joe is not going, Olive is not traveling,
unfortunately, you have to travel.
So if you have to travel, it is that is what we call the harvest time for the businessman. Because that is the opportunity.
It's exploitation. I don't know.
It's not. Because
it's just like during COVID when people were escalating the prices of things.
Of nose mask.
Were buying for 30,000.
If you talk to our marketers at New Central, our rate cards have not escalated because it's December.
Exactly. We also offer services. I will not say,
services.
because it's December. If you are calling me to MC an event, I will charge you times 2 of what I typically do.
You have the right to do that. You have the right. You might feel that you are not going
to. There's supply. There's plenty supply in that field.
You now answered my question. So you can't do that, because as soon as you are going to double your fee, another person is there to do it less.
We have like 2 minutes left.
No problem.
Abubakar Malami, the former Minister of
Justice.
Yes, former Minister of Justice and Attorney General, has been detained by the EFCC. They are accusing him of looting funds, Abacha funds. They say he didn't meet his bail conditions.
They said the lawyer they hired and paid had already done the job. He now hired 2 lawyers. They copied and pasted, and he gave them invoice to do what had been done. So they need him for questioning.
Pardon me, this issue when you have EFCC and the politician coming is just to, in my personal view, is like a distraction, because it is the beginning of the game you will see, the end you will not see it. So that's why a lot of us will say, the man will come, he will do Christmas in his house. A lot of other people have come to visit.
So,
the former Kogi State governor.
You should not expect anything major out of it.
It's just for the headline. Yeah, you just have it out there. I'm sure they just want to be seen doing some of this work. It's part of the problem we've had with some of those problems. Even when you have facts before you to nail people, how many of it have we actually maximized to put these people behind the
white lion is still wearing white.
So you discover that with everything that was said with the former Kogi State governor, where are we on the case? Nothing. So as
with all the cat and mouse games
that played out, nothing. So but if it is one low-level cadre person that this is actually happening to, in fact, you won't see it on the face of the dailies. He would have been dealt with and become a forgotten issue.
You're preempting the EFCC. They will surprise you.
EFCC are people, they are officers of integrity.
I'm not saying they are not officers of integrity. I'm only using the antecedents that we've seen. That in personally, cases. I have not seen some of those cases that we have discussed.
It's early days. When they carry out their investigation and see that, wow.
And you see, my problem, Benga, is that most of the time, we don't do investigation before we bring out the story. So we will now bring out the story and start the investigation, and we have nothing to hold on it. That is actually my problem. And that's why I'm not saying they are not integrity people. They are. But the truth here is that we have seen the antecedent of where some of these high-profile people will be challenged or accused or alleged, as the grammar might be. And the end thereof is that they will still come back and be a free man on the street.
Okay, I want to
without waiting for VAR.
I want to quickly, as we wrap up, take comments from YouTube Live. Fubara defecting to the APC is not shocking. I guess it's part of the condition he was given during his negotiations with the president and Wiki. Mokunye Chukwemeka said that. Melvin Orianwo says, APC is a joke. Akpabio is the worst Senate president. The senators are representing themselves and not Nigerians. The APC is the worst thing to happen to Nigeria. Ako Dubola says, okay, we've taken this earlier. Pius, thank you very much for always giving us kind words as well. Pius is always taking coffee with milk but no sugar. He said, let me now sip my coffee with milk and no sugar.
I like that.
Okay. Too many issues in Nigeria, but if you ever grok or ChatGPT a new version of rubber stamp, look no further. Nigeria present Senate will do justice to that, too. It is well.
Okay.
On that note, we wrap up the show for today on a Wednesday, Hump Day. We're thanking you for joining us, our wonderful and esteemed viewers who have kept to time, and you've been at the right place. But don't leave the place yet. We have Jasiri coming up next. The ladies are going to talk about very important topics. So I want to say thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of this broadcast. And if you can see my face, I'm not really happy to leave because I wish management can extend it to a 9-hour show.
You will be a part of Jasiri going forward. You will do breakfast and
I'm a male. I identify as a man, and I'm
a feminist. You're a feminist man.
I think you need to be part of
because there's so much to unpack. We couldn't even finish all the news.